Hello and welcome to the Business AOI of the Africa Changers Forum, our Facebook group, the Africa Changers Forum. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are on the same topic as of last week, which we dealt with last week, that is real estate. And I want to thank everybody joining us at this moment. Please go ahead and share on all your platforms. I will be bringing on my co-host in a few moments. I'm your host, Sola Adele, and I would believe this episode is going to be informative, interesting, and eye-opening. So please go ahead and share. And in our regular fashion, I'm going to share our disclaimer. This presentation is for educational purposes only. Information shared and contained herein by Africa Changers Forum moderators, presenters, and guests are not intended to be taken in isolation as tax tips or trading and investment strategies. Tax and investment compliance laws change constantly and are regulated differently across various jurisdictions. It is important that you consult a CPA, attorney, or financial advisor before making any tax and investment decisions, and to ensure compliance with applicable laws. So that is our disclaimer. So it relieves us of responsibilities of things that people might claim, which we have disclaimed already. So thank you so much for joining us once again. I'm bringing my co-host now, my brother Itua Aitonje. I hope we wouldn't have any issues with our video or audio today. That is my brother. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you, bro. How are you doing today?
I'm all right. I'm all right. Good, good, good. We have good video and audio today. I'm glad. So we're kicking on straight ahead, and I see someone joined us already. This person was even ready before we were ready, I think. Brother Rotimi Abraham, thank you for joining us. And please go ahead and share with people on your various platforms. We continue today on the real estate topic as a way of leaving a legacy to your heirs, the next generation coming after you. We're not talking about just your children, but we're talking about everybody coming after you. You know, it's like passing on the baton. I was listening to one of my mentors this week, and he said legacy. He touched on that topic, and he said legacy. Legacy is what you leave onto your children, your heirs, in terms of wealth and property. In terms of wealth and property, just like I shared with us on this show some weeks back, I said, legacy. Actually, the dictionary definition, one of the dictionaries, the definition is property. Property that you bequeath, property that you leave as an inheritance for your children and your children's children. So it was reiterated by my mentor this week, and one of my mentors this week. And, you know, we are pushing that today. We continue that real estate is one of the ways you can leave a legacy for the next generation, for your children and your children's children. If you want your name, if you want your last name to continue on after you, real estate is that one aspect. And, you know, real estate, when it comes to real estate, when it comes to every other thing in this world, they are produced. You know, everything is gotten from the ground and produced, like your phones, like cars, like everything is produced from real estate. So real estate is the first asset that anybody can claim that they own. And most people, most rich, most well-established people in the world, they hold majority of their wealth. A huge stock of their wealth is held in real estate. So we will be talking. Last week we shared on how you can start from scratch, and we'll be going deeper this week. It's going to be very, very interesting. We're going to go deeper this week. We're going to go into how you can put your finances together, how you can start small. and I'll be talking about my little 12-month experiment I'm starting into financial freedom. I'll be talking about that today. And my brother is here, Itua Aitonje. Welcome again, brother. And he's an expert in real estate. He's been in the game for a long time, and he will be digging deep and sharing with us from his wealth of experience and knowledge. He's been in the game for decades now. So welcome, my brother. Can you give us our opening statement as we start today?
Thank you very, very much, my bro. It is always a pleasure, as always, to be here. To our viewers, to our listeners, I thought we had an interesting one last week, and we want to carry on from where we left off with
Yes.
the real estate as a very good way of leaving a legacy.
Yeah. I'm thinking you can increase your volume or
Okay.
you can speak
All right.
close to the mic.
Let's see. Let's see. Okay.
Yes.
Better.
Yeah, I think it's better.
Yeah. So, the point is clear, as I rightly explained last week, as my brother has also just touched on. You cannot do anything on earth without real estate. The earth itself is real estate. It is only wise to own some. If you don't own any yet, start working towards owning some. It's so important. You were actually made, you and I were actually made from real estate.
Wow.
Our bodies are real estate. Yeah, we came from it and we'll go back to it. That's how important.
Wow, wow, wow. This topic is big. This topic is deep, man. Look at where you're starting from.
Yes, it's not a joking matter. It's an all important matter.
Our body is real estate itself.
Yes,
Wow.
it is. That just came from nowhere. Thank you, Jesus. But anyway, you know, to tell you how important it is, it's
Yes.
a no-brainer. Everyone hearing, or most people hearing this already know some of the things we're saying or talking about. So this is for the most part like a reminder,
Right.
And of course, if there's anything you don't know before, take it and run with it. It's
Yes, sir.
a great thing to be part of. I mean, all over the world, everywhere you look, anybody who is doing well in real estate, or anybody who's even in real estate for that matter, are respected. As
Yes.
if there are some very special people who fell out from the skies. Oh, he's a real estate magnate. Good. But here's the good news.
Like
Every
in the old days, a king is a king just because of the real estate he
That's
holds.
right.
He
Exactly.
wields power over.
The king owns all the real estate.
Yes, yes,
You
yes,
know, I mean, it's still the same. These days, let's put the government as the king. The government
yes.
owns all the real estate, so
That's
they're
right.
just giving it to you for a time and all of that. So it's important, so, so, so important. We cannot digress, yes, or over emphasize the point of the importance of real estate. It is
That's
so,
right.
so crucial. So everybody who as listening to this, please understand that this is a game that you can play very successfully. You know, there is ample help everywhere. It is simpler than you think. Yes, you can say it's not easy, but it's simple
Yes.
because, discipline is not an easy thing. However, the steps to discipline yourself is simple. It's just obviously getting into the habit of it, so to speak. And as I said, there's ample help in every area you want to get involved in this game. Last week we hammered a lot on land, which I'm going to touch on just for a few moments and then march on. You know, it is so important because I see that as one of the easiest way to start. I have done, as I said last week, I repeat myself, long land banking for many many years. It's bailed me out at times from challenges because they are more affordable to procure, and you just leave it. Sometimes you even forget they are there.
Yeah, is that what they call holding and stuff like that?
Yes, you just
Holding,
wait
yeah.
and hold it. I like to use the term land banking,
Land banking.
personally. Yeah, I don't know where I got that from. I've never, but because for me, you just buy and leave it there. It's like a bank. It's there. It hardly ever. In fact, I don't have any history of land depreciating.
Right.
Yes, we talk about property crash came, houses are now selling for cheaper, blah blah blah. But it has never really happened to land, as far as I know. You know that land depreciated. So it's a very good way to start, and you can systematically own a lot of it. Of course, you have to learn how to secure it too. Because we know land can be encroaching, but there are very simple strategies to also make sure you keep them safe.
Right.
As I did say last week, if you need any help, especially if you're from Nigeria or from the southern part, we're here to help you. Okay, so that's it. So today I want to step more into, of course, um, bigger acquisition of now, properties that have not been built, building houses, residential, commercial, mortgages, so forth and so on. So as time allows, and of course we're going to be allowing some questions today. People can start texting in your questions, and so we can deal with all of those because this is a very, very important topic. That's a very long intro, by the way, but here we go.
Oh yeah, quite effective, intro, and thank you so much for that. Like my brother said, you can text in your questions. Just write your questions, and we will be able to address it uh, as it comes in. Next week we are going even deeper into real estate, and next week we will be putting on a phone number for our viewers to call in to ask more questions, especially brother Itua is based in London, England, and people that are in that area, that jurisdiction, you want to go into real estate or you want to expand and stuff in and expand in real estate, you can call in and ask questions. If you are also an expert like my brother, you have vested interest in real estate, you want to share your opinion on the show next week, please watch out for our banner. The phone number will be up there for you to call and give our viewers some insight from any part of the world, even in the US, in Africa. You are an expert or you have interest and you have experience and knowledge in real estate. We will welcome your call into the program so that you can share with our viewers and also rub minds with us. I am not an expert in the area, but getting into real estate myself, and I'm into real estate already. Let me put it that way, because like my brother said, I am real estate myself.
Yeah.
So I'm in real estate already. So no, I don't need to think like I may not have much experience, but I'm in real estate already. So it is so important. I will be talking from my own side today, how people can get ready and how we can simplify and we make it simple to get ready to go into real estate, because some people will say, oh, I don't have the 3% down, I don't have 10% down, I don't have this and that. And even when you buy real estate, I'm going to be talking from the area of owning assets and not liabilities. Owning assets
Very
and
important.
not liabilities. So real estate can be a liability as well.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people think, oh, I have a house, that's an no. So I will be talking not about real estate, but how you can get your house together to get ready to go into real estate. So my brother is the prof today.
Right.
He's the I'm backing up. I'm going to let you do what you get to do in a way of kindling the fire this morning. I want to ask a question which our viewers, I believe, may have. Like you quite said, like you rightly said, like you pointed out, you say you want to go into buildings, mortgages, and things like that.
Yes.
So the question, or maybe I could paint a scenario where you now take off from there. The question I may have is, I'll look towards Africa. Owning a home in Africa, what are the different ways? what are the different ways to get funds to start? I don't, over here in America, you have to have a percentage of down payment to buy a house, and you have to have a good credit. You have to have a good credit profile and stuff like that. So I want you to dig into this that I just mentioned.
Yeah.
A house or a property can be a liability,
Mm-hmm.
or it can be an asset. Can you start with that, since you are
Yes.
talking about owning
Yeah.
a home and
Okay.
mortgages today?
Good. Very simple. Very simple. Please, everyone listening. Most people who own real estate have them as liability.
Mm,
Let me explain.
mm,
Clearly, a liability is something that takes money from your pocket,
mm.
while an asset is something that brings in.
Money.
Most people are excited about having a mortgage. You buy a house, a big house, and they're celebrating Thanksgiving.
Oh boy.
Well, it's not an absolute sin, so to speak. At least it's better than just paying rent, yes. But
Yeah.
look, it is not a very smart thing to do. It's not the very best way to get started. I can't call that scripture back to earlier. I just have this come to my mind now. Solomon did say, the wisest man of all, said, he did, I'm paraphrasing. He
Right.
said, go and deal with your field first. In other words, organize your business first, have money first, be in
Mm,
profit first, and then after, build your house.
mm,
That was the richest man of all time talking in
mm.
Proverbs. Okay.
Can you repeat that?
He said, um, deal with the matters of your field first. So, in other words, plant your vineyard. I can't remember that, but all he was simply saying is that make sure you, in Israel, as you know, in time past, they were majorly farmers. So most businesses were their main business.
Agro-based.
Yes, yeah, most of their businesses were agro-based. So he was advising that when you're getting started, sort out your business. Of course, he was referring to real estate, but he was saying the best way to do real estate is to have a stable business first,
Mm-hmm.
and then go ahead and build your house from it.
Wow. Wow. So
Um,
you are talking about having something like maybe liquid assets.
yes,
Mm,
Rashada,
mm.
please just paraphrase what I said now. Go and dig that scripture up for me so that I don't lose track in trying to do it myself here. It's Proverbs.
Okay, as you look for the scripture.
Yes, it's right there.
Okay, yeah. Also,
Okay.
what my brother is talking about is this. For you to go into real estate, you can't just jump into it. That is another level of life. For example, you buy a new house now, you start paying mortgage immediately.
Yeah.
Even though you okay, now you've been able to put 3% down, you start paying mortgage immediately, and you can't default on the mortgages.
No.
So what my brother is saying is that, and which is going to tie up to what I'm bringing, the angle I'm coming with today. What my brother is saying is that have a culture of savings. Have a culture of savings. Have liquid asset, that is cash, on the side
Yeah.
before you start going into real estate. Have something liquid on the side before, because that will help the takeoff. Because the takeoff sometimes can determine either you succeed or not. Go ahead.
This is the point. Whatever you do in life,
Right.
cash is king.
Mm,
Access to cash is king.
right.
So
Right.
create it for yourself. I don't care how small. Make sure you have a growing portfolio of money or its kind
Right.
somewhere all the
Right.
time. Now,
Right.
this is why I'm emphasizing on this. Every human being can do it. It is not rocket science. My brother's one might be $10,000 a month.
Mm,
Mine could be $5,000 a month. Yours could be $1,000 a month. Anybody else's can be $500. Another person might be $5 a month.
right.
But please be consistent with the growth of your monetary value, your worth, your
Right.
however you want to put it. There are a million ways to do it. See, this is why the Jews rule the world.
Mm.
They've practiced it so much. It's in their DNA. They teach their kids from childhood. People think, oh, they are too mean. They are so this. That. No, no, no. They have taken it as their inheritance that we are meant to be rich. Without
Right.
money, we do not have a voice. The
Right.
world hates us. They think this and that about us. You can say whatever you want about the Jews. It's no wonder 25% of the richest people on earth.
Jews
They are only 1% of the population of
on
the
the
world,
population.
but 25% of them is found on the list of the richest people,
Mm.
money wise. And of course, they dominate every other industry, but
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
they don't.
Innovation,
They
invention,
know how
so
to.
many other industries.
I had a landlord once in my office, in one of my early real estate office in North London. Sometime he drives a the car he drives is it's not even worth £1,000,
Mm.
and he owns office blocks all over London. In
Mm.
that office complex where I had about 50 offices there.
Mm.
He looks tattered, he dresses, I mean, we're not saying they're all like that. Some of them are quite, you know what I mean? They put
Right.
on the style or a lot of them, they are just programmed into this, I am meant to be rich thing. You can criticize that. It's not a bad thing.
Mm.
Okay, if you think it's bad, then swap it then. Embrace poverty. You see, as a man thinks, so you see.
Right.
People allow too much of their thoughts to criticize money, even subconsciously, and that's why money keeps running away from them.
Away from them.
You have
Like
to,
attracts.
yes, you
Like
have to
attracts.
embrace it. So back into the real estate thing we're talking about. Please don't be in it. There's nothing wrong with owning a property. We're not absolutely killing that, but we're just talking about a better way. Because here we're talking about the legacy today, and we're talking about passing this on to our kids.
Right.
This is one of the best topics we can also teach our children when
Right.
it comes to their time to buy property. Do not be in a hurry. Of course, if we leave them stuff, that's fine. That makes it good for them. But put that mindset in them that when you start building your portfolio, be asset minded. Let your mindset be, the orientation of your mind is whatever real estate I'm investing in has to start producing me money immediately. Even if it's land, we know that almost all the time, or all the time we can say you buy land, it's definitely going to start appreciating. And it's a very easy entry level. We have covered that. So please, if you want to buy your first property, here is my advice. Even if you have to inconvenience yourself for another year or two by living the way you don't think you should live. Look, it will pay dividends
Mm.
hugely eventually by
Mm.
delaying yourself that extra year if you have to. Make sure what you have is a commercial property or it's a big enough property that you can stay and rent part of it out. So that way, you're not actually paying rent anymore because if you use that strategy where you have extra rooms in your house, what will happen is that you are living on your property for free. So the
Right.
rent you are getting, there's nothing wrong with that. Start with that. We
Mm-hmm.
know everybody wants to have a 10-bed mansion, straight away, but it takes time to get there. Why don't you start with even if it's a residential one, but you have extra rooms, rent them out, you stay there, cope with living with other people just for a short while, because very quickly you're going to buy your second property from that property.
Mm.
The
Mm.
first one is always the most difficult.
Right.
Once you do that and you have a good history, lenders open up to you. You are now easily accepted. You can now really begin to play the OPM game of other people's money. Because you are now, leverage. You are now able to really leverage other people's monies from your lenders because you have a good history already that you didn't have to break your neck or really inconveniencing yourself by just buying it just for yourself, just for you and your family alone. And, then it becomes, as we have said, a liability straight away because you are forking out monies from your pockets monthly,
Right.
kind of laboring to do that if you like. But there is a smarter way where that same property could have been making you money, or you would have had another smaller commercial one that's bringing you money from day one. good rent, and then off of that, you can go ahead and buy another residential. Or come down. I mean, some people even go from one to the second to the third, and they have two or three of whatever number they want to have first on commercial before they now go to their residential, because what they're simply doing there is that they are allowing the fruits of that to provide them a free house.
Yes.
It doesn't take long to do. It's
Mm,
all planning.
mm, mm.
It's all there is no race. Like I rightly said last week, you are not in a race with anybody.
Right, right.
You are in a race against yourself, and it's a good race. You're trying to bring the best out of you because you have unlimited potential. Don't play any game with anybody, any keeping up with the Joneses game. It is a recipe for destruction all
That's
the
right.
time. Different people are in their different journeys. Some
Mm,
people's own have been ordained for now. Yours is still 5 years away
mm,
or
mm,
longer. Who
mm.
knows? So a name in my place where I come from says, wealth does not have a late comer.
No way. I like that. Wealth
Yes,
does not have a late comer.
yes.
I like that.
It's a name in my place. So, be yourself, you know, do your own thing, have your own plan, sit down with a financial planner, if you or a mentor, someone that's already doing what you're doing. They are everywhere. Sit down with them, reach out to people who know how to answer your questions. Because if you're serious about this, however simple it sounds, you will have a ton of questions.
That's
Be
right.
in the habit of asking questions.
That's
Be
right.
in the habit. This is one of the most guaranteed way. Is nothing is a guarantee, we know, but it is one of the most stable way, I should say, for you to grow wealth and quickly. I
And
repeat,
be financially free.
yes, it is one of the ways to grow wealth in a stable way and also with good speed.
Right, right.
You don't want to miss out on this. You see, when I think about real estate, it makes sense to me why everybody should be in business. Everybody.
Mm.
Because for some people, being in business means owning a shop where everybody comes to see you. No, of course, we all know that. There are a lot of ways, can be investing in stock or whatever. But this is just one of the best ways. You know, it's just one of the best ways. If you have a challenge with managing property, because I've had people tell me that, oh, you want to, because one of the services that I used to render a lot that blessed me and a lot of people was building them portfolios. I used to charge a fee to build £1 million portfolio that's nearly 20 years ago now. And there are a lot of people coming. And, some of the people that were asking questions, some eventually did, others never did. The one question they all kept asking, as soon as you presented the idea of the £1 million portfolio for them within a year, they go, well, and it was going to be 3 or 4 properties. In most cases, it was 4, because we tried to stay under the 250. Try to stay under the 250 £1,000 mark for obvious reasons. You don't want to be paying your 3% stamp duty if you go over that. So that's what it was. But the number one question most of these people asked was, what if I can't rent out all the properties? Look, especially in recent times, I don't know what it is over where you are. The renting market is booming. It continues to boom. I don't know where all the people are coming from that are needing them. You know,
Right.
Here's the point. Everybody that's ever owned a property had to find tenants. Some people have 100. Some people have 500. Some people have thousands. Now, those people have no worry about how they rent out their property. You are going to buy just 2 or 3 or 4
I
right from the
worry.
beginning. You're already, you see, it's a mindset. All of these things, you're already attracting fear. And guess what? For such people, some of them, when they do, they are the ones that eventually sometimes struggle with having either people in their places all the time or the proper people that should be. You know what I mean?
Right.
In them trouble free. But that's just to drop that in there. So you should embrace it with the attitude of, yes, I can do this. There will always be people that would rent my properties. Oh, yes. And a big point here, look for the smaller properties. If you're doing buy to let, The smaller, the better. They are quicker to go. One bed, two bed studios, you know, here is why.
They are
They're
quicker
more,
to go, and the residual income is steady,
yes,
so
yes,
you can service your either your credit or loan or
correct.
whatever.
You know, a lot more people are always needing one and two beds, more than three beds and four beds.
Right.
You know, a lot more because there will always be students, there will always be a lot of people starting life, there will always be people who don't have too much money, and that's what, you know, the percentage is very high. So bear that in mind when you're going to start investing. It's very, very important, except of course, as I said, you're looking for something you want to motivate where live in, and the rest of the rent from the other rooms is paying your mortgage, and and helping you live on the property free. So that's that big point there. I want to go on the point of planning that I already mentioned, but I think we should spend a little bit of time there, my brother. Now, you see, we can share all the strategies all we like from now to the end of the world.
Right.
If you do not have a good plan in place, and then the mighty word, I must call it mighty in this case, discipline, you're not going to do anything. See, here's what I have learned, and I'm sure everyone that's well-meaning in money making and growth understands this.
Right.
It is not how much you earn that really matters. Big money is good. We all want to earn more. We are all always, striving, getting better, getting trained, doing more things, owning more businesses, creating more income streams is good. But, because we're talking from ground up here,
Right.
it's not so much how much it is. Some people earn $10,000, some people earn £10,000, and they're still broke at the end of the month.
That's right.
They're broke at the end of. Some people earn more. They're broke at the end of every month. See, have a plan. And whereas you have others who are earning half of their salary, even £3,000, £4,000, £2,000, they have a very systematic plan, and they are always growing. They don't get broke at the end of the month, and they still go on and invest in properties and do different things. Planning is of the essence. You must have, let me use the word here, rigid. A very rigid plan. Yes, you can be flexible if push comes to shove, if it's necessary. But I beg to use the word rigid. They said, this is what I want to save every month. If you want to own real estate in the next 6 months, it depends on what you're earning, depends on who is advising you, it depends on what access you have to deals, because there are good deals everywhere. It depends on who you know. Some people are going to spend $10,000 and they'll buy property that you're going to spend $50,000 buying. It happens all the time.
Right.
How? Connections, time and chance. Call it what you want, So take all this on board. It's very important. If you don't have a plan and you don't discipline yourself to put monies aside, let's make a very typical example here. Say, for example, you're in the United States, you want to buy a house. You're targeting properties around the $200,000 for a start, your first commercial property.
Right.
Okay. I'm hearing you talk about 3% a lot, 3% a lot. Because it's a lot more here. 5% if you're squeaky clean and
Oh
doing
yeah, it's up to 10% here. 3%
what?
that I'm saying is when you get the best deal. That's about the
Yeah,
best deal, because
yeah.
I listened to a show, and anyway, it was actually my mentor that said we have real good rates here now that you can get up to 3%, but what the norm is almost 10%.
Okay.
Almost.
Yeah. Okay. Similar here. First of all, it depends on your credit history. That will determine what lenders are ready to lend you. However, whatever it is, we're working with the 200 grand purchase price in this scenario. And let's say you need 10% for easy calculation. So you need $20,000, to buy your first property. You need to work out a plan how quickly you can put that money together. If from your current job, if all you can save, or from your current business, all you can put aside is, let's say, $500. it's not a bad start. See, money has a way of attracting money, of growing quickly when you begin to put those little pennies together. You don't necessarily need to spend the 5 years or 4 years that you look like to raise that deposit. And
Right.
once you start putting money together, because from the point you have 5 grand and so on, other opportunities might show up that you can use that money and quickly do, you know what I mean? You know,
Right.
a quick investment, of course, caution is always the key word. You have to be careful what you put your money into. What we are saying is that an ongoing plan has to be in place. You know, sometimes it takes people 10 years to really save up enough money to do what they want to do. Not in all cases, you know. A Jewish man once said, well, he said averagely most of them plan for 10 years to work themselves like crazy, and then they have enough money to start out into whatever business they
Right.
choose to get into. You understand? Now,
Right.
that is obviously something that's not very common.
Can
And
I
yes, go ahead.
interject at this point? I think what you have really brought home for us, for our viewers today, when it comes to real estate, is patience. Patience is very, very important.
Late
You know,
gratification. Yes.
yes, recently, and we're talking about business AOI, which is targeted at Africa, most of our people in Africa. So when we start to talk about dollars and percentage and all that, that might throw them off, but our audience is global. That is
Mm.
understandable. So I want us to look from the African perspective to be able to, reach for everybody to understand. So, like you said,
Thank you very much.
patience is so important. Even if you are in Africa, you want to start to own a house, you want to buy land, it is very important that you be patient. The,
Yes.
the thing is that some people have money even in Africa, and before you know it, they are not patient. Number one. Number two, they let everybody know one way or the other. They let so many people know they have money.
Mm.
So once people know you have money, people are going to come up with ideas on how you can spend that money.
That's right.
And most of those ideas will be in form of one scam or failed business venture.
Yeah.
Some people don't intend to scam you, but they have not done their due diligence on the business they are introducing to you.
Have no
So
experience.
because you are not patient,
Mm.
before you know it, you will put your hand into
Your
that business.
hard your
It
hard earned saving is gone.
Yes, it happens across the board. We have heard about basketball players, football players
Yeah.
in America here who only one financial advisor. This guy is, he's a financial advisor, hedge fund guy, money management guy. This guy got millions from up to 50 NBA athletes, NBA and NFL athletes. These are
Mm.
people that have sign-on bonuses of 2 million, 5 million, all kind of million. He got money from all these people and put all their money in one venture,
Mm.
in one business.
Mm.
And it failed, and all these people lost their money. And most of them put all their money into that venture.
My goodness.
So my brother is saying now that I want to welcome Raphael, our brother Raphael Ajire. I want to welcome Emmanuel Aibeyi. I think that's someone that is known by you, brother Itua. And
Oh, oh yeah. Oh, that's my childhood friend from Emmanuel.
yes,
You say?
he's watching you live and he's
Welcome.
saying
God bless
his
you.
greetings, sending his greetings. So thank you for those joining us. Thank you so much. And please share on your platforms. Please share across your platforms. So what am I saying? Patience is so important in this game. If you want to go into real estate, patience is so important. You have to do your due diligence. That is what my brother is saying. So if you are in Africa, watching us from Africa, and you want to start buying land and houses, you have to do your due diligence, not to go ahead and announce how much you have. Everybody know you have money. You have to start doing your due diligence. My brother talked about going back into the villages, into the rural areas where land is so cheap. He
Yeah.
said you need to go there and you start doing your research. when you do your research, you're not only going to meet the person that's more like the caretaker of that community, but you are also going to meet people that have land there already to give you their own perspective, which is very important. Then you touched on something as you were talking about people. Not just, you said buying your house can be a liability. You think you have a house, but what you have is a liability, not an asset. You have bought a house, you are so happy. Some people even go to church. You know our people now, we're Africans, right? Our people even here, they will go and do ceremony, Thanksgiving. They bought a house. You bought a house, you put, let's say 10%, or most times you put 5% down of a $250,000 house, and you go to do Thanksgiving, but you are going to pay that house in 30 years. That house is not an asset. It's a liability. It's taking money out of your pocket. So when you were talking about that, I thought, and I said, our people will have this mindset and say, yes, even if I have the house, at least that house can bail me out. I can mortgage the house if I'm in trouble. When you mortgage the house, you have just given your house to somebody else. And most times when people mortgage their houses, they are not able to pay back. Before you know it, the house is owned by somebody else. So I have to address that too, because I believe some of our people, we have that mindset.
You see that point you just made there?
Go ahead.
All we discussed in this program, it's enough. I'm telling you, because look,
and your children will not even be able to inherit that house again. Before you know, that has happened. I don't want to go into personal experience now, but that has happened.
Yes, it's very common. It's very, 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 very common. It's good to have equity in your property is growing, but more often than not, what's the average now? It's like amongst our people,
right?
It's like 2 out of 3 remortgage their properties within 5 years. Every 5 years.
Whoa, 2 out of 3. There's they remortgage their house just to maybe they want to pay off something they are owing. They have gone to Africa.
Some of them do it wisely. They use it to invest in other things, but for the most part,
that's what I'm saying. For the most part, they have gone to Africa to go and invest in one business that they didn't do a due diligence on it. They are owing money. They now mortgage the house, and before you know it, their children think this house is owned by my dad and my mom. But before you know it, the owners of the house will come and take it. Even the inheritance.
Coming up quickly, yes. Let me quickly make this point. Say, please, my dear friends, brothers and sisters, wherever you are hearing this, the reason we're emphasizing this point is some of us, we have had to learn this
the hard way.
The very, very hard way.
Yes.
We don't want you to go through it. We're talking from experience. Here's what it does. I hope this drives it home. When you make some of these little mistakes, it sets you back immediately 5 years, 10 years. I have had to go through a 10-year recovery once. I mean it. Good learning curve. Learned a million lessons from it, and of course, it's my job to use it to help other people. You don't need to make these mistakes, because the answers are there. Don't be in a mad rush. Be patient. Do your due diligence. Have enough mentors. Hold on to your gold. You worked for it. Good deals will always come. In the multitude of counsel, the word says, there is safety.
There is safety. So
easy for people to make this mistake. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, my brother, I think the main thing today is one of the main things we are trying to drive home today is our people, Africans. Oh man, we have to love our people, and we do this show out of love. We do this show because we want to see how our people can move forward. But one thing with our people, especially back home, is that we're always keeping up with the Joneses. There's something in Nigeria that said, I pass my neighbor.
Yes, I better pass my neighbor.
Same thing as keeping up with the Joneses.
Yes.
And the reason most people now buy houses in Africa or out here in the Western world is just to show to others that I've gotten a house. So what we are saying today is that you can buy a house, but what you just bought is a liability. So we are talking about owning assets.
Yes.
Okay, for example, my brother said, which is very important, the first house you own is very, very important, especially in America here, is very important because make sure the first house you buy is not a liability. That means, my brother just said it, buy a house that you can also rent the same house. Either you live inside the house, you do Airbnb, or there's a way you can, especially Airbnb, or there's a way
Thank
you
God
can
for Airbnb these
thank God
days.
for Airbnb. So you can also rent out the same house and live in there and be making income from it. From that house, you qualify for other either through equity of that house or another credit line,
Yeah.
to be able to purchase another house. And as a first-time home buyer, if you're buying for the first time, there are a lot of incentives from different cities. Like in my city in Houston, there are a lot of incentives. Some they will pay off, they'll help you pay your down payment. Some they will help you money to fix the house or money to so many incentives, so many financial incentives are there, especially if you are buying the house for the first time. So that first time is so important. It can set you up. Then you talked about savings. Savings is all about discipline. You
Can
want
never
to be
value.
financially free.
You can.
Everybody that is financially free, they have a discipline of saving money. And
Yeah.
when we say money, what do we mean? We're talking about keeping money and not spending it,
Yeah.
keeping it for an investment, keeping it to
Yeah.
invest in. And
For
when we
real.
say invest in assets, not liability. I'm going to round it up and pass it to my brother right away
Yeah.
with this point. I went to a conference some months back. It's called, they call it NACA, something like that. These people, they're really doing a great job helping people get a house without credit. You don't have credit, you don't have down payment, you don't have this, you don't have that. So long as you have a job and you have a rental history, you have been renting somewhere for 1 year and you have been paying your rent without any problem. So they believe that if you can pay your rent of maybe $1,000, you can also pay mortgage of maybe $800 or $900. So we went for that conference. Right there at the conference, these people were asking people to start putting in their paperwork to buy houses. So I don't do like that. You cannot just come and wake me up and tell me to make a decision. No, no, no. It don't happen like that. No, no. So that is what I just to
Okay.
support what you said, that you need to build liquid asset, because once you get that house, you just started, and they are not talking about
You see,
one thing I remember in
what
that
those people
conference.
do, so I don't forget this, I'm so sorry, is that you see they're making people commit under duress.
Yes, and I remember one thing they said
Terrible.
in that meeting is that
Yeah.
these houses you are buying is not for investors. You
There you go.
must live in the house. So
You
they
go.
are making you buy liabilities, even
Straight
though
away.
they are giving you incentives and all that, but they're making you buy liabilities. And none of them will tell you about Airbnb or how to
Terrible.
commercialize that property. Go ahead, my brother, please.
Yeah. Let me quickly say this so that, just like you said, we don't throw some people off. Now we're
Right.
talking about basics because we believe, I strongly believe, I mean, it's all about the basics anyway. That's where you start from because we believe the larger number of viewers are people who are either about to start or have just started or want to grow their portfolio and all that. But if you're out there and you're a big investor, we are also here for you. If you are a big investor and you want to invest, look, that's my, I've got something going for 12 million right now. You can get it for 10.5. Right on completion, you're already in profit of over £1 million. I have got that just showed up. So those are some of the kind of deals that we do. These are all within the network. They're not advertised anywhere. It's all in the private network. So if you're that kind of big investor, we can take care of you as well. Okay, just to let you know that. So back to where we were, and you talked about, yes, some people may have been thrown off when we're talking about credit in America and all that. Yes, I was waiting to come to the Africa session because obviously it was easier to make that example there. In Africa, mortgage is nearly inexistent. It's there. We're not saying it's not, but
Right.
it is almost unreachable to the common man.
Mm.
The percentage, the loan to values are crazy. The interest rates are out of this world. Um, it's like, really, I don't want to say what my gut feeling really is for, the mortgage you're running in Africa, as I understand it.
Right.
However, if you are able to, you know, get yourself a mortgage, you qualify, and you can get lenders who are funding your properties, the same rule applies.
Mm.
Please, it can be applied anywhere, whether in Japan or America or Argentina or wherever. If you're starting out, look out for assets. Your investment must be asset based. No asset,
It
no
must be
business.
asset based. Right.
Yes. No asset, you are just walking on a tightrope that can snap anytime.
Mm.
It's happened to me not once, not twice. See, let me tell you a little bit of my story, just very, very quick one liner. Because I was always in the position, almost from immediately when I got involved in real estate, I was always in a position of, where I have access to property because I'm the one selling them anyway. I'm the one brokering them. I know how to assess monies and all that. So it
Right.
was always very tempting. Oh, by the way, if Emmanuel is still there, I bought a block of flat in the same estate, Emmanuel, if you're still there, where you bought a flat, remember? In Whetstone, remember Bodley Court? It was right behind your property. That gentleman is a childhood friend. We had not seen for many years, and I went to my
Oh
property.
wow.
I was like, "What are
Oh
you
wow.
doing here?" I'm like, "What are you doing?" So I live here.
You know what, Itua, I found out, my brother, we are getting older, so some of these internet things and app and whatever. I just found out a way to just post the people's questions right on the screen. I don't know if you can see the question, but if
No,
your
let me.
friend has a question now, I can post it right there. You see, we all see it on the
Okay,
screen.
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. If he has a question or anybody has a question right now, I'm going to post it on the screen and Brother Ito is going to address it
Okay,
right away. Please
okay,
go ahead,
okay.
write your question if
Yes.
you have. So go
Yeah.
ahead.
So, how did I get there? I've forgotten where I was. Well, anyway, let me carry on with the main point, that I think if this is all we spend the rest of our time doing, which we've already touched on, it's
Yeah,
so.
you were talking about your experience and talking about
Oh,
buying a
yes,
block of
very
flats
good.
where
Yeah.
Brother
So,
Emmanuel was
yes, thank you. So, because I was always in that position, it was always tempting to, just acquire some of these for yourself. And
right.
in the space of no time, you had a very large portfolio. A lot of it was mixed with liability.
Mm,
Yes, you had
mm,
them. Overall, you are in, good money, equity overall.
right.
But with what I know now, obviously, because we're talking all of this started from like 20 years ago. That particular deal, if I remember well, was 2004 December, which is 15 years ago. Yeah, that particular. So I wouldn't do it the same way.
Right.
I wouldn't. I'd rather have 10 that's all assets than have 25 and only
There's
7 is
liability.
assets, and the rest of them you are just hypothetically calculating the equity and
Mm,
hoping, and some of us did that, and for everyone that I know that did that, fell face down eventually. And as you know, everybody knows this, a few years down the road was just the global meltdown.
mm.
you know
Yes,
so
yes.
most of these things we did from the year 2000s going down to year 2007, and bang, a lot of people were wiped off.
Mm, mm.
Carrying liabilities. I know a couple of people, yours truly included, who was having to go to court nearly every other week,
Wow.
fighting to save properties. It's not a pretty experience. Yes, you learn from it. Yes, you become better, after it and so on. But it's better to avoid problems that are avoidable. These are very avoidable problems, so that you can have your peace, so you can grow well, so you can, love your family, and
And you being a true entrepreneur, you just, whenever you fall down, you get back up
oh,
again.
get up. There is always more in the future. I don't. I say, there is one gift God gave me. I don't know how to cry for too long.
Mm.
I cry. I can cry better than you, but like
You
David,
sure?
yes. After weeping, remember David when the Amalekites raided him?
Yes.
He cried and cried until there was no strength in him. And the
Mm.
Bible said he encouraged himself in the
Right.
Lord. He said, there's time for crying, but you must more see because greater is ahead of you. There is much more.
Mm.
All the monies that have ever been on earth is still here plus more, adding to it
Mm.
daily. So just look out for the big picture. If you're falling, some people nicknamed some of us some time ago fallen angels. Well, okay, fine. Get up. A righteous man shall fall even 7 times. They get up again, So
Mm.
falling sometimes is the process. Again, let me say this to you. Doesn't matter how much you prepare, you're going to have to fail sometimes. Failing is where you really learn. We're only talking about how to mitigate it because some problems are so painful, especially when you know they can be avoided. That's what I don't want for anybody listening to me. All the advice you can get to play as safe as possible. Yes, there's no 100% correct or perfection in any of these things, but you can so heavily minimize your risk and be sailing smooth most
Yes.
of the time. That's what we are getting at. And that comes with planning, that comes with discipline.
Mm.
Please hear me well. Do not do it alone. Like they rightly say, don't try this at home. Don't do it. You don't know everything. Whatever you want to do, or in the real estate game, there are so many people that know far, 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 far more than you would even know in the next 5, 10 years
Mm.
from experience. They will save you 1,000 troubles. Because the average person thinks real estate is about seeing, in fact, I've even seen some clients that would not buy a property that will make them so much money because it was open plan kitchen.
Because it was open plan kitchen
Yes.
where you have to set it up yourself.
No, it's like a kitchen that you can see from the living room. Most of these
Oh, okay, okay.
condos these days are in America, flats here, most of them, it's a stylish thing for young people. I
Mm.
don't like it very much, but look, most developers in certain parts of that, that's how they build the kitchens. And there's this client I had once, brilliant property. When I say on the high street, next to the underground station, hot
Right.
cake. People were they were like, oh, no, this kitchen, I don't like it. That thing is going to make you more money. It's the potential for that property to grow. And of course, it did grow. It will skyrocket. What am I trying to say? You don't get emotionally attached to property. It's
Mm.
not really how it looks. Asset, 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 cash. Is it going to give you money? Is it going to grow? Where is the location? So for such a person, should have even preferred if I'm going to give her maybe a 3-bed house that looks like, you know, self has its own compound fenced and all these kind of things. Should have wanted that. And then you're struggling to put tenants in there, and then the equity is growing slower because of the area that it is. Don't be emotional about property. That's the point we're making. Learn how to spot or be advised to invest in the right properties that will grow quickly. First of all, that will give you cash flow assets, and
Yeah.
then would grow also very well by reason of the location, because that's the
Mm.
first 3 laws, as we all know. Location, location, location.
Location. Yes,
Okay?
sir.
You don't just jump and buy because the property looks nice.
Mm.
Buy it, looks nice, and it's empty for the next 1 year. And
That's
the
right.
equity has grown just by a tiny bit like this. No. So watch out for that. Again, you cannot or you should not do it alone. Get the advice of experienced people, mentors, coaches, real estate people, whatever. Okay? In a multitude of counsel, there is
There is safety.
safety. One big point, because we're running out of time, I must cover this, and after this point, I will done, except there's anything that comes to mind, is this cooperation. Co-
Cooperate. That came into mind now. I just thought of partnership, but go ahead.
yes. It is, of course, we've done a program in partnership before, but now
Right.
we're applying it here to the real estate and the legacy thing. This is one of the most uncommon things, yet it is one of the most powerful things.
Mm.
See, again, as a man thinks, so is he. As people think, so they are. The biggest companies in the world are still merging.
Mm.
The strongest countries in the better part of the world, Europe, for example, they are still coming together. But the poor person wants to be alone. He wants to own it all alone. He wants to live small alone, die alone, be buried alone in one smoke. It's not the best way. Please. People say, oh, there's so much trouble. You don't want to trust. Do you trust yourself? Or what makes you think people trust you anyway? Look, there are parameters. You can put things on paper. Get people involved. The smartest people in the world are creators. You cannot create alone. Small people are competitors. They only grow small and fail and die for the most part. Please learn how to cooperate, collaborate. It's amateurs that compete. I repeat, professionals create. Be a professional. Start thinking as a professional. Get around proper people. Look out for people who are doing things, who are going places. Make friends with them. Join a club. Form an investment club. Whatever it is. Remember, we're talking about planning as one of our main points today. Now we're talking about cooperation. We're linking into that. Get around proper people, people who want to do the same things that you want to do, and then check them out. We're not saying just jump into partnership with anybody, because some people are whatever they are, or you got to be careful. Find the right people. I mean, one of my partners, Beam, if I don't think Beam is there, we've known each other 10 years. Before we started our partnership, we've always known each other as business people. We had so much admiration for each other, so much respect for each other. We've always wanted to be part of what each other is doing, introducing each other to different things, until eventually we're now starting a humongous partnership. Dangerous, I guess. I'm putting things together. So I'm not saying you have to stay 10 years. You can figure people out in a month, 2 or 3, and get references directly or indirectly. You know what I mean? You know how to do your thing. Everybody's an IPO, investigating police officer. Be one for yourself, for your safety. It is needed. They say it is better to be alone than to be in an ill company. It doesn't say don't be in a company. Be in a good one.
Be in a good company. It said the either walk with the wise shall be wise.
Shall be wise, you become wise. Absolutely. So mastermind, it's important. You must have a mastermind that you belong to. Group. And then, because why is that? You can grow faster as a group. I was making an example of it might take you 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 or whatever to put your investment together. With a group, it takes you 6 months or a year.
Right.
A group of you, for example, now can, in 1 month, start investing in Africa. Whereas it might take you 6 months, a year or 2 to do it yourself. In that period, that business would have grown so much times than you would ever get to alone in the next 10 years. So why don't you become part of a group? Even if it's only...
My brother, you just hit something right there. We need to talk after this show.
Okay.
I need to talk to you about forming a group now.
And I've been waiting
for
you.
You know.
You are the one I've been waiting for. And right from the beginning of this, I told you guys about this. I said, yeah. And you all disappeared.
You know the journey I'm on. You are in UK, I'm in the US. Let's talk after this show. We're going to talk about forming a group, and because right now I have my mentor that just started a real estate crowdfunding. So I think we need to talk and look at ideas on how to go about that. Partnerships. So long as we can find trusted people, the sky is not even the limit. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, just like I said, the penny probably didn't drop in the beginning when I was saying this. I was saying even if it's $100, something has to be growing so far. But it's fine, as they say, whenever we wake up, that's our time.
Right.
These can be done, and of course, the other brothers are on sabbatical at the moment, and you know what I mean. But it's so sweet. I am a part of several partnerships. I have my own thing. I have my own companies, but I always like to work with people. Guess what? I've never made any money alone. Ever. You can't. Who has ever made any money alone?
Nobody.
No human being.
you always have a group. You have a team.
You have
There's
to.
always a team you're working with.
You have a team. You're in real estate. You need a solicitor. You need a lender. You need the client. You need this. You need or something. So please be that way inclined. Just put it in your mind. You don't need to be a professional business person as most, because some people need to get, oh, he's a businessman, oh, he's a real estate mogul. You can be one. Just get around people. You'll be shocked how quickly you will learn from a group, because that's another good part of the group. Some people have more experience in the group. You just learn off them and they challenge you. Like you just said, you quoted a scripture. If you move with the wise, you become
You
wise.
become wise. You become
You
wise.
know, you just watching a
Some of
video.
us have to change our association. We have to change
Yes.
our environment.
Oh, I mustn't forget this point. It sounds like a joke. I was preaching somewhere and I just dropped it in the passage some time ago. And for the next 2 minutes, almost everybody was laughing. I was surprised why they were laughing. I said, why is everybody laughing? They said,
Right.
what did I just say? I said, everybody, when you get home, please screen your phone today. There are so many numbers you need to delete. Oh, this is no joke.
It's not a joke. Just like what you're saying now, those that will hear us and will go on with what we are talking about. They have friends that are not talking about properties now.
Naysayers are
Yes.
to a penny. They are there to kill your dream every time you try to do something. And these are the kind of people that a lot of people give access to. Some of them are your family members. Some of them are your so-called close friends. Some of them are your neighbors. Some of them are colleagues. Look, it's good to have all these people. Everybody has family. Love them. Still kind of love. You have filial kind of friendship. Of course, the agape from God and, the eros with your wife and all kind of friendship. So you must know how to compartmentalize. It's not everybody's phone number that should be on your phone. It's not everybody's phone that you should take. Because you're going somewhere and talking to them will not let you arrive. Why do you want to follow somebody to hell that won't follow you to heaven? Run your race. Be warned, you're not going to be popular for it. That's fine. Maybe I would compete for one of the most criticized people on earth, and I love it. I have learned how to love being criticized, lied against, maligned. It's sweet. I used to be bitter about it, talking, fighting, wanting to prove myself right, wanting to this and no. In fact, if I don't get criticized, if I don't have any diseases, I'm wondering what's going wrong. It is meant to be so, except you going nowhere. When you are down, they'll laugh at you. When you are up, they'll call you a criminal, an opportunist, this, there's no, it doesn't matter. My friends, my brothers, my sisters, run your race. It's important. You're the only one got a purpose. You're the only one got to get a vision. Yes, you need others. Yes, you need collaborators. Make sure the people you're collaborating with, the people you're close to, are people who see what you see, are people you can trust, are people that can help you get to where you want to go. And I don't say this to criticize your friends or your family. You'll be surprised to know it's because they really love you. That's why some of them try to stop you from those things. They really, truly love you. Oh, this is our brother. Don't go and hurt yourself. Oh, my sister, don't go. You can't do that. Because they've known you from childhood. They've known you since you were whatever you were. Oh, come on. Even Jesus, the same was said of him. Isn't this the capital's son? Is not the brother of James and John and Judas? Are his sisters not here with us? That's even God himself, let alone you. You understand? So familiarity will bring these things about. There will be people who want to stop you because some of them even think they are doing you a favor. As if, don't go and waste your time. You can't do that. Get a normal job now. Do small things. What's all these big things you keep talking there? You can't. As if all the people that did it before, they came with 2 heads from heaven. If it's a vision, it's clear, it's specific, it's measurable, achievable, it's time framed, and measurable. If I've mentioned that, I don't know if I'm ever repeating myself. You know the SMART acronym anyway. Those are the things you have to put in place. It has to be specific, measurable, achievable, time frame, and whatever the last one is. Put it down so that you have a structure. You are not just running ragged like a headless chicken. You have a direction you're following. Real estate. Please, gentlemen and ladies, friends and enemies and brothers and sisters, we all have all of them. Get into this game. A scripture just came to mind now. It talks about, well, two scriptures. One says, what is that again? Ecclesiastes 7 or something. It says, if the ass be dull, more strength is required.
Yes.
Now, real estate is a sharp axe to cut down many trees. Talking finances now. Now, also, this is another scripture that comes.
My brother, you want to have
20 seconds. 20 seconds. I say this, and you can eat, and then it's all yours. The word says you cannot serve God and mammon.
Right.
One of the ways I believe people serve God and mammon is by working hard all your life. There's nothing wrong in having a job, especially the one that you enjoy. The job is good for you to start. But I think a good way of serving God is being smart, knowing how to put your monies together, get into good investment like real estate, so your money begins to work for you.
Right.
And so you are not serving mammon. It's one of the best ways. There are many ways to explain that scripture, but that's just dropped in my heart, and I thought to share that very much. We're always out of time. I know that.
Yes. And that is why, my brother, this has been an amazing week. You remember, you know one of my testimonies, right?
Keep that for now, please.
Yes, we'll keep that, and later on, that will even be an area we can exploit to teach our people. But something amazing, great happened to me this week, so I'm excited, and it's all about moving forward and doing things, achieving goals, and the legacy, building a legacy for our children's children. So that's great thing happened to me this week, and we'll tap into that much later. We are always out of time, and that is why I just put it on your screen right there. My brother, can you see it on your screen, what I just posted?
And yes, please join us. Thanks. For more depth into real estate, come into the show. Look out for the banner.
Yes. So you can see it there. Next week, we want to go really deep, and we're devoting 2 hours to the program. We'll be sharing the banner. My brother has really dug deep today, and we want to get more of what he has in stock. All that secret he has hidden inside of his mind, we want to bring it out. The Bible says a man of wisdom, it says counsel is deep in the heart. No, counsel is hidden in the heart of man, but a man of wisdom will bring it out. He will draw it out. So we're going to bring out much counsel, much advice, and we're going to go really deep next week, because we have a whole 2-hour program for that. We're going to announce it in the banner coming your way soon on Facebook, and please share it on your platforms when this banner is released somewhere about Tuesday, Wednesday. Please share it on Instagram and everywhere. We're going to go deep next week. We're devoting 2 hours to this topic. It is so important that the legacy series we're talking about, legacy itself is defined as leaving property, some substantial property and real estate for your heirs, for your children's children. And that is how we can help Africa. That is how Africa can turn around. You will be surprised and shocked how many people that don't have the interest of Africa at heart that own real estate in Africa. So how much more Africans? So please join our Facebook group like we shared already. I'm going to put that up again. Join our Facebook group. It's called Africa Changers From. Anyway, you see it on this banner right here. Join our Facebook group. We are a group of people that have devoted our time, our skills, and our experience to contribute and help Africa. So the group is comprised of Africa Africans of all that of diaspora and Africans are back at home, and all lovers of Africa from all over the world. Either we don't care your race, your color, whatever you are, so long as you love Africa, you can join that group and join us, and put hands together with us to build Africa. So if you want to reach out to us, you have our names. Let me put it up there now. You can always send a
Yeah,
message to
Facebook Messenger, please. Facebook, I
yes.
specify that, please.
Yeah, please send Facebook Messenger message to Brother Itua, and he will reach out to you. You can also send a Facebook message to me, and then I think let me put our email address up right now. Our email address for the show. So in case you want to send us an email, I'll put it up right now. 1 second. Our email. This is our email. So if you want to send us an email, or you want to send us a private message, you see our name on there. So always send the private messages to either of us, my brother Itua or myself, Sola Adele. This is how our name is placed on Facebook. So my brother, thank you so much for your depth of knowledge and sharing with our viewers today. It has been so informative, so interesting, and so eye-opening, like we promised from the beginning. And I want to thank everybody that joined us today, and those that will watch this after this time of broadcast. Thank you, Rotimi Abraham. Thank you, Brother Raphael. Thank you, Emmanuel Aigbein, and others that have joined us in the live broadcast. Until we see you again on this same channel on Facebook Live, we hoping you have a great week of success, progress, and investment. So have a great day. Thank you, my brother.
That's
Bye
it.
bye for now. All right.